Red Wing Hockey. Tonight's game is brought to you by American Motors Corporation, who offer you a fine selection of American Motors, Jeep, and Renault vehicles. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And Budweiser Light, the light beer with the clean, distinctive taste. And by Little Caesars, home of the famous Pizza. One of the Little Caesars 140 locations in the metropolitan Detroit area is near you. And by Ballpark Franks. And by Michigan National Corporation Banks with over 450 locations statewide. Now, here's Bruce and Sid.
Coliseum again here in Edmonton, Alberta, home of the Edmonton Oilers, who in a moment or two will be taking on the Detroit Red Wings. What an important game again for Detroit. But Sid Abel, how about the Toronto Maple Leaf game?
2 late goals, innocent-looking plays, both cases coming out of the corner. I thought in the second goal, Guerre's second goal, and the winning goal, Bruce, I thought Palmetier played it very loosely. It was a play where Foster just took the puck away from Salming, took a weak shot at the net. It bounced off Palmetier, and Danny Guerre followed it up. Jim Korn sleeping out in front of the net. Danny Guerre just alert, put it in the net. The biggest game, biggest win for Detroit.
That, of course, was last Wednesday night at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, and those 2 goals late in the period, the third period, kept the Detroit Red Wings alive so far as their playoff hopes are concerned. We said it on radio a little while ago, Sid. It bears repeating that they're playing tonight a team that's 27 points out in front of the second-place Calgary club in the Smythe division, but these Edmonton Oilers haven't let up. They've won their last 4 in a row, as a matter of fact.
Bruce, they are a scoring machine. They are averaging better than 5 goals a game. The Red Wings cannot get into a wide-open hockey game against them. The Red Wings are going to have to try and play as defensive as they can, hope to keep them off the board. Edmonton will allow goals. They have allowed as many goals this year as Detroit has allowed. But they have scored 381 goals, 5.22 goals per game, and that is a lot of goals.
These 2 teams play only 3 games all season long, and this is the third of a season-long 3-game series. And oddly enough, each team has won 1 in the opposition's arena, with the Edmonton Oilers defeating the Red Wings 7-5 in the latter part of November. And then about the 9th of January, the Wings coming in here in Edmonton and whipping the Oilers by a score of 4-3. So it's kind of anybody's guess, because the Red Wings have come up and played well on the road and played well against some of the better teams in the league.
And the Red Wings are playing better, as you mentioned, Bruce, better on the road than they are at home. So can lightning strike twice, though, out here in Edmonton?
Well, it's going to be an interesting thing, and it's a hockey game that we're looking forward to. One thing they have done is shut down Wayne Gretzky. He hasn't scored a goal in the 2 games thus far, but he's got a half a dozen assists. What he and the Edmonton Oilers and the Red Wings do tonight, we'll be back to find out. We pause first, though, for this message.
This Bud's for everyone who's got the heart and courage to go the distance. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Ballpark Franks plump when you cook them. Wouldn't it be nice if there were ballpark hamburgers? They'd plump, too. And if there were ballpark lamb chops, they'd plump. But there aren't, so they don't. But there are ballpark Franks. They're plump full of lean beef, juicy pork, and tender veal. They do plump when you cook them. If only there were ballpark steaks. God. Ballpark Franks. The next best thing to ballpark everything.
And now, demonstrating banking without waiting, Magic Johnson. Magic starts a fast break, moves down the floor past the long lines, drives to the Michigan Money fast teller. He slips his card towards the machine. It's in! Look how he lays up those deposits, passes his money from savings to checking, and picks off those withdrawals. Bank without waiting, like magic, with fast teller at Michigan National Bank. What a bank shot!
No sports car was designed to conquer winter like this machine. Introducing Eagle SX4, the only sport machine that lets you switch from 2-wheel drive to full-time 4-wheel drive to get you through when the going gets tough. two-wheel drive for high mileage and performance under normal conditions, to Eagle's snow-gripping four-wheel drive when ordinary sports cars are stuck in their tracks. No wonder the National Ski Patrol switched to Eagle. 11.9% financing now available on new Jeep, Renault, and American Motors models.
And so the singing of the national anthems prior to the start of the game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Oilers here in the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. The Detroit Red Wings tonight with Jules Gilbert back in goal, and he's seen the Yeoman's work in the, I'm going to say the last 3 weeks of this National Hockey League season, and he moves right back in, played well against the Toronto Maple Leafs, knocking away 35 of the 38 shots fired in his direction. And at the opposite end of the arena, off to our right, Andy Moog, who has taken over pretty much the big work and the chore of tending goal for the Edmonton Oilers, who sometimes pay a good deal more attention in their offense than their defense. The referee is Dennis Morrell. Jim Christensen and Randy Mitten, the two linesmen of this hockey game, is underway. From the face-off, play goes in behind the Detroit net. In after it now, Reed Larson. Larson has Foster up in front of him, along with Osborne and Gare. Play was knocked away, and Wayne Gretzky went in behind the Detroit goal, but it's knocked away from him, and now coming down the right side, Gare. Gare was stopped right at the blue line. Now here's Curry moving into the Detroit zone, and a big save made by Gilbert. Play stays still deep, came right out in front of the net. Knocked off to the side. The wings, Danny Gare goes after it. Now he's got Osborne trailing on the play as he goes over the line. Osborne knocked down a bouncing puck but couldn't play it. And the Oilers turn it back out center ice. Larson knocked that away. Then Gretzky picked it up, carries back in. Here's Gretzky. His centering pass is knocked down by Greg Smith. Came back to the blue line, and Huddy holds it in there. Took a long shot, and Gilbert kicks that away. Now Gare whips it out to center ice. That bounces by Huddy back into the Edmonton end as the Red Wings go for a player change, and Paul Coffey winds up. Cleared it over on the right side. Anderson tipped it into the Detroit zone. Huddy went after it. Lattiser, number 19 of the Wings, along with Reggie Leach, goes in to hold it to the boards, and a face-off to the left of the Detroit goal.
Detroit a little careless opening up here, letting that big line with Gretzky getting in too deep. I would think there are a few butterflies. This game means so much to Detroit, and knowing that Edmonton is such a high-scoring hockey club.
Messier on the left wing with Kenny Linsman at center ice, and over on the right side, Glenn Anderson, Fogelin, and Kevin Lowe back along the defense for Edmonton. We have Ivan Boldarev with Ogrodnik and Leach, the front line for Detroit. Puck bouncing around to the Detroit blue line, taken now by Boldarev. Here's Ivan Boldarev over on the left side, giving chase to it, John Ogrodnik. Fogelin chasing him. Ogrodnik tipped it into the corner. Fogelin covers up, but Reggie Leach knocked it in behind the Edmonton goal. Lowe, the Oilers, goes in after it, and now Anderson swings it out to Linsman. Here's Kenny Linsman over the line, hands it off. Puck came out in front. Messier gave it off to Lowe, and again Gilbert came out to kick that away. Willie Huber didn't handle it back to the net, but Boldarev covers up. John Ogrodnik sends it out, just too far out in front of Reggie Leach. At his own blue line, defenseman Lowe. Turning back now for Edmonton. Lowe fires it beyond Messier. That goes deep into the Detroit zone. Anderson played it out in front. Murray Craven, number 22 of the Wings, knocks it away. Kicks it to center ice, and Ogrodnik has it on the left side. Over the line with Blaisdell. Ogrodnik whistled a shot that went high and wide. Reed Larson takes it, hands it back now to Greg Smith at the Detroit blue line. Smith scoops it out to center ice. Anderson had to wait for Messier to come back onside. Then his pass knocked down by Reed Larson. Picked off by Jackson, and defenseman Don Jackson scoops it back to the Detroit goal. Larson to the wings in after it. 2.5 minutes have gone by in the first period with no score. Murray Craven sends it out to Paul Woods, bouncing it into the Edmonton end. Who came out of the net, cleared it up the right side. Now coming out center ice is Randy Gregg, clearing it into the Detroit zone. Greg Smith got it to the blue line, but Gregg held it in there. A long shot that Gilbert knocks down. He fed it up the right side, but the Wings can't work it out. Jackson held it in, and shot fired wide of the Detroit goal by Hughes. Here's Gregg again, and Paul Woods deflected his shot away. Knocked down by Greg Smith, and when Paul Woods plays it, the play is whistled down. So with a pause in the action and still no score, we'll be back right after this.
Little Caesars pizza, the one that kicks you too.
What's new at Little Caesars? Lunch.
Pizza by the slice. Italian sandwiches. Antipasto.
Greek salad.
Crazy bread.
And pizza. If you're on the go during lunch, get it to go fast from Little Caesars.
We serve you with a smile.
Get the most out of your lunch hour.
Send you smiling on your way.
Red Wings move out now with a line made up of Ken Solheim on the left wing, Kelly Kissio, and over on the right side, Mark Loftout. Puck bouncing around in the Detroit goal now. A loose puck knocked away once, then twice. Then a scramble of players out in front of the net, and Greg Smith is kneeling on the puck and has stopped the play. Oh, that should have been.
Everywhere but in, and Detroit very fortunate there to not have a goal scored on them.
Number 24, Tom Rolston, centering a line with big Dave Semenko on the left wing and Dave Lumley on the right side now. For Edmonton with a play to the left of the Detroit goal. Puck came right back to the blue line. Here's Huddy with it. Charlie Huddy takes it into the corner, put it right through the goal mouth. Puck fired right back with Gilbert, and he kicks that away. And the Wings fire it down the ice. Heading back after it, Coffey, as he touches it, the icing call against Detroit. And right now, the Oilers have 6 shots, and the Red Wings 0. As we're 3.5 minutes into the opening period, it's been all Edmonton.
Detroit are just sitting back a little too much, Bruce. They, no doubt, are going to try and play it as close to the best as they can here early in the game, but you cannot just sit back and let Edmonton carry the play into your zone. You've got to pick them up and hopefully keep your defense standing up at the blue line.
Red Wings will be home for 2 games next week at the Joe Louis Arena. On Wednesday, the Wings play host to the New York Rangers. Saturday, 2 o'clock, the North Stars. And the first 6,000 youngsters, 14 and under, receive a free T-shirt from Melody Farms. Tickets on sale at all the Hudson's and CTC outlets. Face off to the left side of the Detroit goal. The 2 centermen, Rolston and Bolderev, wave down to the face-off circle. Paul Woods comes in against Lumley. No score, 3.5 minutes gone by in the first period. Larson sent it into the corner deep in his own zone, and Bolderev tips it down the ice. Heading back after it, Huddy, his pass didn't come out. Ogrodnik held it in, but Coffey covers up and circles in behind his own goal. Now down the ice, over the line, into the Detroit zone. The puck bounces to Semenko in the corner, and Semenko lost it, and the Wings break out. Here's John Ogrodnik. He's got Woods trailing. Ogrodnik over the line. Ogrodnik couldn't get away from Huddy's check. Still he managed to scoop it into the corner, then Ogrodnik dealt to the ice by Lumley, who gave him a belt. And the referee, Dennis Morrell, letting things go a little bit on both sides. Now the play up the left side as Semenko tips it ahead, held in by Bolderev. Here's Ogrodnik putting it out in front. The pass went behind Woods. Woods brought it back to the blue line. Paul Woods with a drive. And Move makes his first save of the game as the Wings were dangerous. Play held in at the line. No, it wasn't. Whistle down offside as Bolderev fired it back in. With still no score, we pause for this message.
Attention all Ford UAW employees. Midwestern Dental Plan is now available to you March 28th through April the 15th.
Our membership have saved thousands of dollars through the Midwestern Dental Program at a time when dental care cost is high. I urge you to join now.
Midwestern Dental Plan eliminates out-of-pocket expense for most dental work, including braces. Over 10,000 families are now enrolled. complete and return the Midwestern card you received in the mail.
Game played in the National Hockey League this afternoon. Calgary went into Boston. The game ended in a 2-2 tie. We have Dwight Foster now with Osborne and Gare. And the Gretzky line out on the ice again. Willie Lindstrom on one wing and Curry on the other side. Way back into the Edmonton zone. Curry takes the puck off the board. Sweeps it not out. Or rather, Gare held it in, then it's knocked away. Willie Lindstrom over the line into the Detroit zone. Laddister deflected his shot into the corner. Here's Gretzky circling into the circle, and Foster moved in, took it away from him. Now Foster feeds it ahead to Osborne. Osborne took the shot from the blue line, kicked that away. A bouncing puck, Gare knocks it down. It goes in behind the net into the corner. Fogelin goes in with Foster, but Gretzky will come down the right side. Now Gretzky trying to work around Laddister. Laddister hauling him down. Puck knocked away right out in front of the goal. A good save again by Gilbert. And Osborne heads back. Now Osborne again from the blue line. This time Fogelin deflected his shot to the corner, and Lowe goes in after it. Still no score. We've played 5 minutes, 20 seconds of the first period. Lindstrom carried back into the Detroit zone, into the corner. Curry put it right out in front, and Gilbert broke that one up, and the wing scoop it to center ice. Jackson has to hustle back after it. Big Jackson sent it back to the Detroit line. John Barrett played it ahead. Murray Craven didn't get it. Now here's Gretzky, but he went in offside as he was cutting in ahead of the pass. So the play comes right back out center ice. And the Wings are starting to threaten a little bit.
Well, they've had a couple of chances. I thought the one play, Bruce, Paul Wood should have shot the puck a while ago, and he made a play back behind the player. Gilbert looks sharp again. He has played so well the last month with Red Wing Hockey Club.
Murray Craven now with Ogrodnik on the left wing, Blaisdell on the right side. The Wing switching lines around a bit. The play comes back to the Edmonton blue line. Messier laid it back into his own zone. Don Jackson feeds it ahead, and now Anderson brings it out center ice. Here's Glenn Anderson pulling up along the board. Pass came back to the line. Jackson drove the shot and fired it wide. Now Ogrodnik tips it along the board, flips it down the ice, and here's Blaisdell going after it. Mike Blaisdell going right in. Blaisdell is blocked by Moose. He had a bouncing puck and never really controlled it, and moved, knocked it away. But what a chance for Mike Blaisdell. Now the play loose at center ice. Linsman hands it off. Over the line, Anderson trying to go through and around Colin Campbell. He strips, and Campbell will get a penalty. And Edmonton, with the best power play in the National Hockey League, will have the opportunity right now. We'll be back to that after we pause for this.
Wallace, you gotta keep him out of there!
I'm used to him yelling, but not at me.
Punch him out! Punch him out! Out your bed! Out your bed! Budweiser now!
The best never comes easy.
Nice game.
That's why there's nothing else like it.
Colin Campbell caught tripping. Edmonton trying to work through the middle of the defense. And as you mentioned, Bruce, Edmonton by far the best power play of any team in the National League.
They have Anderson, Messier, and Linsman still up front. Charlie Huddy back at one point, Coffey at the other. Huddy is back inside the blue line, handed it off, and Gilbert kicked away the shot fired by Anderson, and the Wings pick it up, and Greg Smith clears it down the ice. Campbell went off for tripping at 6 minutes and 26 seconds. As a minute and 40 remaining in his penalty now as the Oilers move out of their own zone of Messier carrying out center ice. A lot of speed carried over the line too quickly, though, and the play is offside. And they'll come back out over the Detroit blue line for the face-off. Saturday, March 26, 2 o'clock, free Red Wings T-shirt day. First 6,000 youngsters, 14 and under, receive a free T-shirt, compliments of Melody Farms. So you come see the Red Wings take on the North Stars, get a free Red Wings T-shirt. Saturday, next Saturday, 2 o'clock afternoon game, March 26th. Dwight Foster and Osborne penalty killers with Larson and Greg Smith. Still it's Linsman, Messier, Anderson up front. Coffey hands it off at center ice now to Huddy. Charlie Huddy sent it back to Coffey. That's knocked away. Larson will fire it down the ice. Now a minute and 20 seconds remaining in the penalty to Detroit's Colin Campbell. And the Oilers winding up in behind their own goal again is Messier. Drops it off for Huddy. Down the left side to Anderson. Over the line. Here's Messier cutting right in. And again, Gilbert stayed right with him, made the save, but Larson didn't get it out. A drive by Coffey. And Gilbert deflects that up into the crowd.
Goaltending means so much to a hockey club, and Gilbert just single-handedly here stoning Edmonton early in the game. Beautiful save. Edmonton have scored 78 power play goals and 270 opportunities they've had.
And here's one of the reasons why, as he moves out to center the line now. Wayne Gretzky. He'll have Curry on one wing, and over on the other side is Willie Lindstrom, who came to the Oilers about 9 games ago from the Winnipeg Jets. Trade Laurie Boschman over there.
Right, what a break for a hockey player to be traded from a club that's trying to get in the playoffs to a club like Edmonton.
Loose puck. Here's Lindstrom with a shot. Knocked down by Greg Smith. It's loose down in front of the Detroit goal. Dug away, and Curry has it. Now it comes back to Coffey at the left point. Over on the opposite side, now to Huddy. Played off the rim of the circle. With it there is Gretzky with a drive, and Gilbert kicks that away. Greg Smith picks it up and fires it down the ice. 40 seconds left in the penalty. The Oilers have outshot Detroit 10-2. We have no score. Right back down the ice now is Coffey over the line, trying to work away from Greg Smith. Smith took him into the corner, knocks him down, and Ogrodnik shoots it back down the ice. And 25 seconds remain in Campbell's penalty. We've played 8 minutes of the first period, still no score. Now it's Curry carrying to the Detroit blue line, broken up there by Paul Woods. And again, Detroit clears it the length of the ice. 10 seconds left in the penalty. Now moving back down is Kevin Lowe. Clearing it ahead to Curry. Gary Curry bounced it to the Detroit line. Paul Woods is there to stop that. Shoots it back into the Edmonton end, and the penalty is over as Campbell comes back on. Now here's Fogelin playing it ahead to Gretzky into the Detroit zone with a drive, and Huber blocks it. Bouncing around again to the side of the Detroit goal. Loose out in front, and Gilbert made a great save right out in front of the goal on Hunter. And the Wings will bring it right back down the ice. Over the line into the Edmonton zone is Paul Woods trying to go through a centering pass. And it's shot right on. They score! Mark Lockhouse picks it up and fires it in on a fine play by Paul Woods.
Oh, it was all Paul Woods just keeping control of the puck, made a beautiful deke on the defenseman, made the pass across the Lockhouse. He took all the time in the world. He just completely fooled Moog. Let on he was going to shoot, moved it over a little to his left, and found the empty net.
Big play by Paul Woods right after Edmonton at their power play.
Beautiful deke by Lockhouse.
Mark Lockhouse gets his 7th goal of the season, a 1-0 lead for Detroit on just the 3rd Detroit shot of the hockey game. Now the play comes back into the zone. Here trying to pick it up was Lockhouse. Solheim wearing number 26 for Detroit. Players from Minnesota has the puck again. There's going to be a penalty coming up this time to the Oilers, and the Red Wings are going to have the extra man. Looks like an elbowing call against Hunter as he took the helmet off Kelly Kissio. We'll be back to see the Detroit power play after we hear this message.
Here's 2 of your best friends getting together. The Levi's brand and J.C. Penney. Great names you can trust. Levi's, the name that won the West, now offers casual and dress shoes for men. Come into J.C. Penney and slip on a pair. The comfortable Walker in tan elk leather, unsurpassed in quality. The Highland Classic in oil leather and laces. The Regal in burnished walnut leather. All with the Levi's brand and all at J.C. Penney. They make a great pair.
Dave Hunter goes off for elbowing at 9 minutes and 13 seconds. The Red Wings goal by Lockhouse, his 7th of the year, from Paul Woods at 8:52. Detroit leading 1-0. Now their first power play chance of the game. Here's John Ogrodnik trying to send it back to the blue line. They got it into the corner for Danny Gare. Gare's pass didn't come out, though. Knocked away, and now Messier is 1-on-1 with Reed Larson. Moving into the Detroit zone. Pulls up, puts the puck out in front, but Gare is back to take it away. Laid it in behind his own goal for Willie Huber. Willie Huber in behind the Detroit net. The Wings of the extra man for a minute and a half. Huber out at center ice. Hands it off to Larson into the Edmonton zone. Over on the left side to Boulder with a drive. And Moog actually ducked on it, but the puck went high off the net. Messier got it out to center ice. Bouncing around there. Larson kicks it back to Gare. Now to John O'Grudney. O'Grudney back into the Edmonton zone. Puck went right to the goal mouth, so Moog is going to hold on to it. And the play will remain in the Edmonton end to the right side of the Oilers' goal. So the Red Wings, with the poorest power play in the National Hockey League statistically, play the team with the best. But they held off the Edmonton power play in that period, thanks primarily to Bill Gilbert.
Yeah, Detroit have only scored 33 goals and 236 opportunities that they've had.
I hate to say it, in their last 3 games, Sid, the Red Wings have scored 2 power play goals, given up 3 shorthanded goals, so their power play has not been all that effective. Now here's Osborne playing it back to Huber. Willie Huber dumped it along the boards, a little short pass. Came right back to Huber. Over on the right point to Reed Larson. Larson took the shot, fired it wide, and Huber has to skate all the way back into the Detroit zone to get it. Larson had the opening, but the shot low off target. There was nobody at all near the front of the Edmonton goal. Now Huber starts out of his own zone. Willie Huber at center ice. Backhands it in behind the Edmonton goal. Moog goes in behind his own net. Puck fired back on the right side. Larson lost it. Here's a clean breakaway. Curry and 2 on nobody. Going right in. And Gilbert stopped him. Play goes in behind the goal. Can you believe Curry and Gretzky 2 on nobody? Now Gretzky takes the puck. Here's Gretzky going into the corner, trying to work away from Larson. Larson ties him up. 15 seconds left in the penalty. Center ice pass now to Osborne. Osborne ahead to Lofthouse, back into the Edmonton zone. Lofthouse trying to work away from Jackson. They dig in along the boards after it. In the corner is Foster. Right Foster. Hands it out in front to Osborne. Over on the point now. Here's Greg Smith with a drive. Moog got a piece of that. Penalty is over. Edmonton back at full strength. And the Oilers move out again with Gretzky and Hunter. Here's a pass to Hunter going right in. And Gilbert stopped him. They just can't keep this up. And the pass goes loose again and moving in. It was Lattiser that covered up on Wayne Gretzky in front of the Detroit goal. Lattiser trying to work away from Gretzky. Works it back now to Smith. Knocked away at center ice. Shot back into the Detroit end offside. Oh my goodness, the plays that Gilbert has had to make.
It's hard to believe that Gretzky and Messi, guys like that, 40, 60 goal scorers.
Well, we'll be back after we pause now for the...
Last January, European experts voted this Renault Car of the Year. Today, American experts agree. They named the American-built Renault Alliance Motor Trend's 1983 Car of the Year. Alliance was judged for styling and design, quality and comfort, performance and dollar value. Renault Alliance, so outstanding it's the Car of the Year. European technology now built in America. 11.9%.
Test drive Alliance at your AMC Jeep dealer.
Clean-cut breakaways, one right after the other by the Oilers. Thus far, Gilbert has stood in front of everything. The Wings lead the game, and here comes another one as Hunter's over the line trying to go through. He's hauled on, and there'll be a penalty coming up to Detroit Lattiser. But the Wings are getting caught at center ice, and the Oilers breaking in.
Well, they cannot continue to play the way they are, Bruce. You cannot pop up the puck in center ice and just let them break cleanly like that. They've got too many fellows that'll score goals. When you look at the scoring, Gretzky with 64 goals, Messier with 43, Curry with 41, Glenn Anderson 43, Paul Coffey, a defenseman, with 25, and Kenny Linsman with 31. 6 players that are going to be over the 30-goal mark, which is a National League record.
Can you believe that they can come in while they are shorthanded and have Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry together with nobody back?
A two on nobody break.
And Curry elected to take the shot.
And Gilbert, well, he's been unbelievable.
Now hooking call to Lattiser at 11:54. Now here's Coffey working it back to Huddy. Huddy took the long shot right out in front. It's Gilbert and they score. Wayne Gretzky doesn't get him any easier than that. He just reached around and in a half-empty net as Gilbert made the first move. So it is now a tie hockey game at 1-1 on the power play goal by Gretzky.
And that just shows that you have to stay on the ice. You cannot afford to take penalties against this club.
The 14th shot of the hockey game for Edmonton is the first goal. As Gretzky gets the power play goal. Huddy had fired the shot.
65th goal of the season.
How many players would like to have 65 in a career? Anderson and Huddy draw the assist on the goal. Scored at 12:04 by Gretzky on the power play. Now the play with both teams back at full strength goes back into the Edmonton zone. Huddy turns out in front of his own goal. Puck knocked away by Leach right at the Edmonton blue line. Bolderev tipped it back in. Coffey covers up. Coffey played it up on the left wing. Now Semenko starts back down the ice. Semenko clearing it ahead over the line. Hughes trying to work his way in around the Rolston. And the puck ended up in the corner. Going in after it, Bolderev bounced it out in front of the goal, and it'll be Greg Smith bringing it out. Coffey intercepts at center ice. Turned around by Ogrodnik. Still controls it. Hands it back now. Lumley up on the right wing, and Rolston shot it in behind the Detroit net. Game tied at 1-1. 7 minutes to play in the first period. Play loose in the Detroit zone. Leach drove it in behind the net along the boards on the left side. Greg Smith, his pass didn't come out. And the fourth line of the Oilers making it tough on the wings right now. Finally, Bolderev kicked it out to center ice. And they hold it in along the boards. The face-off will stay just over the Detroit blue line. So the game tied at 1-1. We pause for this.
The most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go, whatever you do, there's something big waiting for me and you. Coke is it, the biggest taste you've ever found. Coke is it, the one that never let you down. Coke is it, the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it.
Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel, our producer Toby Cunningham here at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. The game tied at 1-1. Loftus for Detroit, Gretzky for Edmonton. The Oilers have the play now coming down the left side. Glenn Anderson going in behind the Detroit net. Gilbert came out to knock it away from him. Dwight Foster scrambles in the corner along with Kenny Linsman, and the puck bounces back out center ice. Hoagland hands it off there to defenseman Kevin Lowe. Now it's broken up by John Bear to the wings. His pass knocked away at the Oiler blue line. Coming right back down the ice is Linsman. Kicked it into the Detroit zone. Colin Campbell tried to work it out, kicking away at it. It comes out center ice. Foster's pass didn't come through. Now it bounces back out the center ice area. Covering up was Anderson, clearing it over on the left side for Messier. Back into the Edmonton zone, and now bouncing again to center ice. John Barrett kind of tangled up in the linesman's skate. The Oilers take over. Foster moved in, knocked it away. Colin Campbell chases it along the boards. Anderson controls it, but he shot it all the way back into his own end. About 5.5 minutes to play in the first period of a 1-1 tie. Al Foster stole the puck in the Edmonton zone. Foster twisting and turning with a hand to the Foster with a drive. Knocked down out in front. Hoagland slow getting up. Here's Foster with it again, sending it back to Gare. Danny Gare's pass, though, didn't get through, and the Oilers will bring it back. Down the ice, Messier over the line into the Detroit zone, drops it off, and Huber bumps heavily into Anderson. And the wings come up with it as Gare moves slowly out to center ice, fires it into the Edmonton end as the wings go for a player change, and big Don Jackson of the Oilers. Clearing it ahead, knocked away, a good play by Paul Wills, back into the corner. Bush tried to center it, covering up with Gregg. Now the wings held it in, Blaisdell flipped a long shot, Jackson knocks it down out in front, bangs it off the board. Out to the center ice area. Now it's taken over the line. A shot knocked away by Gilbert, fired by Hatchild. And the Wings are going to be called for icing as they fire at the length of the ice. And so the play is whistled down. Our trivia question for tonight's hockey game: what three defensemen have scored 20 or more goals in their career 4 times or more? The trivia quiz brought to you by WJR Radio.
Detroit haven't had too many chances. This was an off-speed shot that fooled Gilbert. He has made so many big saves.
Tap shot a moment ago. Now the play stays to the left side of the Detroit goal. 4 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first period, a 1-1 tie. Paul Wood, to set up the first goal scored by Loftus, is on one wing. with Craven at center ice and Blaisdell on the other side. Now Woods clears ahead to Craven up the right side. Blaisdell took it over the line, but he couldn't work away from Dave Hunter. Right back down the ice, the Oilers. Now Heichfeld tried it back into the Detroit end. Greg Smith fired it along the glass. Hunter knocked it down. Craven covered up on him, and the wings start back with Reed Larson, 3-on-2. Here's Larson back into the Edmonton zone. His pass didn't get through. That's taken away by Blaisdell. And he was stopped right at the goal crease. And the Oilers will bring it right back. Almost ended as a good play for Detroit. Matt Hughes drives it into the Detroit zone. Craven again came in, covered up neatly. Now Blaisdell starts back. Paul Woods tips it back into the Edmonton end. They wave off the icing, and so back after it goes Randy Gregg. Over on the right side, moving out Paul Coffey. O'Grodny slowed him up. The puck stays in the Detroit zone. And score! Coffey, I believe it was.
Yes.
Finally ended up as that puck deflected. Maybe off of Gilbert, I'm not sure.
And I think it hit the inside of the goal post too, Bruce, but he should have been checked over along the blue line. It hit the post and went in, a shot right along the ice. Paul Coffey scoring his 26th goal.
Well, this comes at 16 minutes and 21 seconds on the 17th shot.
He just squeezed right through along the boards, between John O'Grodnick and the boards to get in.
Gregg draws the only assist on the goal scored by Coffey. 16:21, the time of the goal. Now it is 2-1 Edmonton as the Oilers head out of their own zone with Gretzky. He dropped it right at center ice, and Huddy shoots it in behind the Detroit net. Gilbert stops it there, lifts it up the left side. John O'Grodnick couldn't work it out. He's covered by Huddy, so Colin Campbell comes in after it. Sends it up the boards on the right side, and Reggie Leach a long pass. Here's O'Grodnick going after it, moving into the Edmonton zone. O'Grodnick right out in front, and he went all the way by the goal and then backhanded it well wide. Here's O'Grodnick sending it back to Huber, a long drive from the blue line, and Moog knocks it down. That puck was bouncing around out in front, but cleared away. Huber stopped it at the right point with another long shot that Moog kicks into the corner. Bolderev has it right out in front with a drive. A loose puck, and falling down on top of it, the defenseman Coffey, and finally grabbed off by goaltender Moog, and the Red Wings came close.
The Red Wings had 2 or 3 excellent chances. Dennis Morrell could have called a penalty there, I think, on the Edmonton player.
Well, coming up between periods, Larry Adderley talks to a new Red Wing, Ivan Bolderev. Gets his feelings about the playoffs and how his playoff experience he hopes will help the Red Wings this year. That's our first intermission on TV 50. We'll have a lot of sports for you on radio. The Red Wings have 8 shots at goal. A moment ago, they were outshot 17-5. They're now 17-8. They've had the last 3 shots, and they came in a bundle here just a moment ago. 2 minutes, 36 seconds to go in the first period. Puck came back to Larson with a shot, and that's deflected wide of the Edmonton goal. Puck came out to the center ice zone. Lofthouse has it there. He just laid it back to the Edmonton blue line, and the Oilers will come right back. Fired back into the Detroit zone. Greg Smith lays it up the left side. Solheim plays it ahead now for Kissio. Kelly Kissio of Detroit. Over the line. Here's Kissio dropping it off for Lofthouse with a drive, and Moog stops that. Now the Red Wings starting to apply some pressure. Solheim made the check back of the net, but the Oilers pick it up, clear it out to center ice. Taken away by Reed Larson. Larson turns with it up the right side to Lofthouse. Mark Lofthouse sent in along the boards by Kevin Lowe. It ends up back of the Edmonton net, and Fogelin has it there. Now Fogelin sweeps it ahead as the Oilers bring it out center ice. Rolston laid it into the corner in the Detroit zone. Larson, his pass up the left wing, too far out in front of Osborne. And the Oilers again control it. Rolston lost it. Here's Larson. Reed Larson played it back into the Edmonton end, but Lumley covers up. Scoops it back to the Detroit blue line. Campbell clears it ahead for Osborne. Back it comes to Campbell. Minute 20 to go in the period. Campbell played it to the left side, but nobody there. Held in by Osborne. Here's Osborne handing it to Foster. Foster takes it in toward the corner, trying to pull away from the check. A penalty coming up to Edmonton as Foster was grabbed, and Anderson is going to go off. With a minute 12 in the period, Detroit will have their second power play opportunity.
Great work there by Foster. Indeed, he forced Anderson to take the penalty by hooking him.
What a game that Dwight Foster played against Toronto Maple Leafs.
I thought he was the outstanding player on the ice.
A hooking call to Anderson. Face off the rim of the circle to the right side of the Edmonton goal. Ivan Boldarev with Danny Gare and John O'Grudnik. Reed Larson and Huber, the power play combination for the Wings. Oilers, however, win the draw. Jackson played it to the line. Huber held it in there. Gives it now off the circle to Gare. Back on the blue line to Huber. Willie Huber put it right out in front of the net. It deflects into the corner. Boldarev has it there. A minute to go in the period. Here's Boldarev. He lost it. Taken away. And the Oilers will bring it right back down the ice. Down the left side. Messier trying to work away. And Larson took it away from him. Goes in behind his own goal. 45 seconds in the period. Reed Larson has trouble with Messier. Wings still haven't got it out of their own zone. There are 5 of them in there. Now it's Boldarev. Laid it over, and Gare has to come back to the Detroit line. It goes back into the Wings' end. Crowd enjoying this right now. Danny Gare moves back over the Edmonton blue line. Laid it into the corner. O'Grudnik has it there. O'Grudnik in back of the goal. Failed to work away from Jackson. Boldarev sends it back to the blue line. Willie Huber took a long shot way wide. Here's O'Grudnik chasing it along the boards. He lost it there, and Gregg will lift it down the ice, and that'll eat up the rest of the time in the period with just about 5 seconds to go. We understand at the Silver Dome, the Michigan Panthers are leading 3-0 in a football game here in the middle of March. But right now, the big one has a 1-1 score at the Northlands Coliseum. I'm sorry,
I wish it were 1-1.
In the first period, the first goal by Loftus at 8:52, and then Gretzky on the power play. Coffey at 16:21. As in the first period, Edmonton shot Detroit 17-9. And the Wings will have the extra man for the first 48 seconds of the second period. The time remaining in the penalty to Ben Anderson. That's the story of first period play from here at Northland Coliseum in Edmonton. And we'll be back after we pause for this.
Jeep asks, why drive a car?
Taxi! Taxi! Jeep! Jeep!
Why drive a car? I bought my Jeep Wagoneer as a second car. Then I realized, what do I need the first one for?
This just in. 11.9% financing on Jeep vehicles.
11.9%?
11.9% means monthly payments as low as $158.87 on a new Jeep CJ.
The most refreshing way to make the most of every day. And wherever you go, whatever you do, there's something big waiting for me and you. Coke is it, the biggest taste you've ever found. Coke is it, the one that never lets you down. Coke is it, the most refreshing taste around. Coke is it. Little Caesar's Pizza, the one that gets you two.
I need 2.
Pizza, please.
I need 2. 2.
We'll split a pizza. One for us, one for him.
Pizza, hot and hearty. No waiting, no delay. We serve you with a smile.
Pizza.
Send you smiling on your way.
Why are you always behind the wrong person in a bank line?
Change this for Albanian Lex, please.
Just compute the interest from 1946.
For simple banking.
Just want to cash a $20 check.
Bank in a fast lane. Michigan Money Fast Teller at the Michigan National Corporation Banks. Designed to handle routine banking transactions quickly and simply. So get out of the slow lane.
$1,000 in traveler's checks.
In small denominations.
And into the fast lane. Michigan Money Fast Teller.
Sometimes, in business, as in life, you need a little extra help to meet the goals you have set. Due to the size of the job, or to beat a tight schedule, the CompuWare team is there to help you with your data processing needs. From systems or application software to mini computer systems, or the professional development of your staff, CompuWare can assist you in meeting your goals. Check us out. We're the logical alternative.
A year ago, he was in the Stanley Cup Final. 17 playoff games in all, 8 goals scored for Ivan Boldarev with Vancouver. This year, he's with the Red Wings, and you might say the playoffs are a question mark. But Ivan Boldarev doesn't think so.
I think, I think we'll get in the playoffs. It's not a question of getting in. I think we will get in, and I think once we get in, anything can happen. We proved that last year in Vancouver, and we had the same type of team, hard-working team, and good goaltending, and I think we've got that now, and anything can happen once you get in the playoffs. But I feel confident we'll get in.
What was the ingredient that helped Vancouver get there?
Well, Colorado was in our division last year. That helped us get in the playoffs, but once we got in the playoffs, there was just everybody played as well as they could. It was just one of those things, and the goaltender played great. I mean, he was unbelievable, Richard Brodeur, and you get into the playoffs, you need that great goaltender.
That kind of thing could happen with these goaltenders.
Well, our goaltenders have been playing great. I mean, since I've come here, I think each one has played well. So I don't know what happened before I got here, but from what I hear, they were playing well then. But goaltenders, as the playoffs roll around, they seem to get better and better.
Could Ivan Boldarev's playoff experience help this club?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if experience. The only thing with experience, I think, maybe the younger players might look at me and say, well, he seems to, no matter what happens, you get down 2 goals or you're up 2 goals, you have to play your system and play the same way. And if some of the younger players see that, maybe that's the only way I think that experience could help.
Can you afford to look over your shoulder at the scoreboard and see what the Blues are doing, what the Leafs are up to?
Well, we have to. We check the scoreboard every morning, and the Leafs picked up a point last night on us, and St. Louis picked up 2. So nobody said it's going to be easy, but I really feel confident looking at both all 3 teams' remaining games. I feel that we have the best schedule, and realistically, all we have to do is beat. We play St. Louis once more, and we play Toronto 3 more times. So if we just take care of those games and come out with a win in each one of those games, that would assure us of getting into the playoffs.
How does this organization compare to others you've seen? For example, where would this team be in a building process?
Well, that's a hard. This is a relatively new management, new ownership. Everything is new, and I've really never been in a situation where everything's been new, and from what I've seen, I mean, everything's going along fine. The big thing is if we can make the playoffs this year and then gradually build on that.
Even if you do make the playoffs, though, the odds would be against you advancing very far.
Well, the odds of us going to the finals last year in Vancouver were tremendous. If you could have bet somebody $1 million to 1, I bet you they would have taken those odds. But like I said earlier, anything can happen. I mean, anything. Some players play better than they've ever played before when they get into the playoffs, and that's what it takes to win.
It is repeated so often by coaches and players that it has become a cliche. And Ivan Boldarev admitted off camera that even he didn't believe it until last year. That line about you get in the playoffs and anything can happen. But when Vancouver made it to the finals, Ivan said he became a believer. As far as the Red Wings, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get back to tonight's game with Bruce and Sid after these messages.
Little Caesar's Pizza, the one that gives you 2.
Pick up a pizza, and you pick up where most fast foods leave off.
Pizza is everything a balanced meal should be. We start out fresh daily with high-protein flour and the finest meats, cheeses, and toppings money can buy.
It's not just delicious.
We serve you with a smile.
It's nutritious.
And send you smiling on your way.
This Bud's for everybody who puts in a hard day's work.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Last January, European experts voted this Renault Car of the Year. Today, American experts agree. They named the American-built Renault Alliance Motor Trend's 1983 Car of the Year. Alliance was judged for styling and design, quality and comfort, performance and dollar value. Renault Alliance, so outstanding it's the Car of the Year. European technology now built in America. 11.9% financing now available on new Jeep, Renault, and American Motors models.
7, the company that started the small copier revolution. 7, first to outplay Xerox and IBM, is now first again.
Not you again!
First again! 7 introduces a new generation of copying technology. Imagine copies that look more like printing than copying. Now at your 7 dealer.
7, first again!
Finance your 7 interest-free. No interest, no finance charge. Call today for details.
The Rockin' Best, 98.7 WLLZ. Detroit's wheels. The best of rock, old and new. Less repetition. Detroit's widest variety of rock. And now, even fewer commercials. No one has to tell you who rocks Detroit. Detroit's best rock, 98.7 WLLZ.
So again, high over the ice surface here at the Northland Coliseum. Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel. The hockey game is 2-1. The Edmonton Oilers lead Detroit, and I guess it could be 4-5, Sid, were it not for the play and goal of Detroit goaltender Jules Gilbert.
I would say it could be more than 5, Bruce. Gilbert single-handedly stoned, I'm going to say half a dozen clean-cut breakaways, played an exceptional first period. I thought the Wings were more or less flat-footed for the first 12 minutes of the period. The last 5 or 6 minutes, though, they come on a little stronger and had scoring chances themselves. So Edmonton will give up goals. So Detroit possibly can get back into this thing.
I think the shots on goal might point that out, Sid. The Red Wings at one point were being outshot 17-5. The shots on goal at the end of the period were 17-9. And oddly enough, the second Edmonton goal, that one scored by Coffey, came on the 17th shot the Oilers had. Gretzky's on the 14th, so Gilbert knocked away the first 13. And after that, Detroit, well, they have the next 4 shots on goal. They'll have a power play coming up, 48 seconds. But, we've said it before. How many times, I don't know. But the power play continues to hurt the Wings. They've got to start putting something together.
Well, Ivan Bolderev means an awful lot for the Red Wings on their power play because he controls the puck. But number one, Bruce, they have to get in over the blue line. Edmonton defensemen are standing right up at the blue line, stopping Detroit from getting in deep. When the Wings can get in deep and let Bolderev be the quarterback for them and get the puck back out to the points, then their power play is effective. But for some reason or other, we can't seem to get anybody out in front of the net to screen the goaltender, and other clubs seem to be able to do it against us.
Well, of course, the 2 teams the Red Wings are worried about right now, the 2 teams they have to catch, one of the 2, the St. Louis Blues. They're playing at home tonight, playing the Minnesota North Stars. The Toronto Maple Leafs, not in action tonight, though they did lose to Winnipeg 7-3 in the game last night. But Toronto will be playing tomorrow night at Chicago, while the Red Wings are at Vancouver. So some big, exciting hockey coming up so far as Detroit's quest for a playoff spot is concerned. And that come-from-behind victory Wednesday night at Toronto kept them right in the thick of it all. So I kind of look forward to a couple of weeks that, well, we've said it right from the start, a race that could conceivably go right down to the wire.
Bruce, had they not won in Toronto the other night, it would have been all over. This way, they're right back in it, and I think it'll come right down to the game, Toronto and Detroit.
Well, the 2 teams are coming back out onto the ice here in Edmonton. The score is 2-1 the Oilers, and we'll be back with second period action in just a moment.
You know the spray paint blues, that down and out of paint feeling. Well, here's how Plasticoat beats the blues. We tested Plasticoat against the leading brand to see which goes farther and lasts longer. You might guess the leading brand, but up against Plasticoat, the leading brand ran out, while Plasticoat sprayed on to finish the job. Nothing beats the spray paint blues like Plasticoat.
Available at all 39 ACO stores.
Well, Miss Gibbs, how do you like our Grill Master Chicken Frank?
Mm-hmm. And
How's that?
Mm-hmm, it's real good, and this ain't no chicken frank.
Sure it is.
Look, I know hot dogs.
Yeah, but Grillmaster has less fat, more protein, and fewer calories.
Well, good for it. But no chicken frank tastes like this.
Yeah, but look, I worked for Grillmaster.
Not for long, child. You keep talking that nonsense.
Grillmaster, it is a chicken frank. We think?
Born of tradition, nurtured by pride. Budweiser Light, with a clean, distinctive taste. A light beer worthy of the king of beers.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it.
For over 21 years, people have been saving money with Entertainment 83. Hundreds of two-for-the-price-of-one savings offers include everything from restaurants to movies, concerts, sports events, even hotel accommodations. Plus, the gourmet dining card lets two dine at fine restaurants and get one dinner free. Yes, Entertainment 83 can pay for itself the very first time you use it.
Entertainment 83 is only $17.95, available at Sears, JCPenney, and ACO stores.
Michigan's largest waterbed retailer, Waterbed Gallery, announces our once-a-year Absolutely Everything sale. A sale where you save on every purchase. Get this beautiful mirror bookcase for just $3.39. Wavecrest Cushion Rest Waveless Mattress is only $59. Sheet set starting at $29.95. Cotton comforters $39.95. And while they last, water conditioner 99 cents per bottle. Everything is reduced during our once-a-year Absolutely Everything sale. Now through Saturday only.
Waterbed Gallery, the better waterbed store.
Intermission guests receive a Dexter shoe wardrobe from Sherman Shoes, who feature Dexter's wide range of sizes, styles, and service. Sherman Shoes, the shoe stores that give you choice after choice after choice.
So we are back once more here at Northland Coliseum. The officials are back out onto the ice, and I took a glance over my shoulder a moment or so ago, and thought the hockey clubs were back there, but we had a much better-looking group of people on the ice.
I thought it was the hockey club, too. I saw all the red uniforms, and here it was a little skating group. Pretty girls. Did a real nice job.
Well, let's right now take a moment to go over our scoring summary of first period action. The Red Wings scored on just their fourth shot on the net. It was scored on a play by Paul Woods, made to Mark Lotsos at 8:52. Lotsos scoring his 7th goal of the year. Colin Campbell had served the first penalty of the hockey game, went off for tripping at 6:26. Both teams were at full strength when the Wings scored. Then Hunter went off for elbowing. Detroit did no damage with their power play opportunity. Lattiser went in for hooking at 11:54, and it was a part of the hockey game where the Oilers were continuously breaking in on the Detroit goal. That penalty paid off in the first Edmonton goal as Gretzky wrapped it in from the side of the net for his 65th goal of the year. The 14th shot taken by the Oilers. Anderson and Huddy drew assists at 12:04. Then Coffey, with a pass from Gregg, fired one in just off the goalpost. That was the 17th Edmonton shot, the final one they had in the period. Then the Red Wings came up with the next 4, but couldn't score. Anderson went off for hooking at 18:48, so he'll have still 48 seconds of his penalty time remaining when the second period gets underway. So the Red Wings in that first period at 9 shots on goal, and Edmonton had 17. And that's our scoring summary, brought to you by the Automotive Service Council, your neighbor who cares for your car. Now the Edmonton Oilers moving out onto the ice prior to the start of the second period. We can take a check of the scoreboard. In the first period, it shows the New York Islanders leading Philadelphia by a score of 4-0 at the Island in New York. Calgary ahead of Buffalo 2-1. And, Calgary this afternoon tied Boston at Boston 2-2. Buffalo and Montreal in the first period at the Forum in a 1-1 tie there.
No score out of St. Louis. Minnesota playing in St. Louis. That game is just...
Game starts an hour after this one, really. So
right, just starting now, getting underway.
They play their Saturday nights in Western Canada at 6 o'clock. Red Wings are going to be home for 2 games next week at the Joe Louis Arena. On Wednesday, the Wings play host to the New York Rangers, and Saturday at 2 o'clock, the North Stars and the first 6,000 youngsters 14 and younger receive a free T-shirt from Melody Farms. Tickets now on sale at Hudson's and all the CTC outlets. Well, we can't be certain whether or not this indeed may be our last telecast of the season. It is the last scheduled one. But, of course, if the Wings can play their way into a playoff, then we'll be right back with you television-wise. We'll be with you tomorrow night at 9:55 from Vancouver. Pacific Coliseum, the Red Wings, and the Vancouver Canucks. Glenn Sather, former New Yorker, coach and general manager of the Edmonton Oilers. Let's take 5 seconds for station identification. This is the Detroit Red Wing Hockey Network.
This is WKBD TV 50, Detroit.
So Detroit will have 48 seconds remaining in a power play opportunity. Time left in Glenn Anderson's penalty as he moves into the penalty box now.
And the Wings have to be careful that they don't give up a short-handed goal, because Edmonton play for short-handed goals. They're leading the league in that department also.
When the Red Wings had their first power play opportunity, if you joined us late, while they had the extra man, Edmonton came up with a 2-on-nobody break-in on top of Gilbert, and the two were Yari Curry and Wayne Gretzky. 100 goals or more amongst the two of them. But this time it was Gilbert that came to the front and made the save. So the second period is underway now. The Wings have the play in the Edmonton zone, or at least they did, but it's knocked away, and Hunter clears it ahead and moving out with it, Pat Hughes. Carrying into the Detroit zone and then driving it back to his own blue line, eating up time. Just a half a minute remaining in the penalty to Edmonton's Anderson, and in behind his own goal, Reed Larson. Detroit trailing 2-1. Over on the right side, Boldarev, Ivan Boldarev coming out center ice. Here is Boldarev driving it in behind the Edmonton goal. Puck came back along the board. Kevin Lowe and Ogrodnik battle for it. In behind the Edmonton goal is Danny Gare. Gare put it out in front. There's Boldarev with a drive, and he shot it wide. Oh, he was set up perfectly. And the shot off target. Now the Oilers are back at full strength. Danny Gare, a quick shot. And Luke had to handle that one. Play loose in behind the net. Gare dug it away a second time. Lowe took him to the ice. Vogelin sweeps it ahead, held in by Reed Larson. Larson hooked off the puck, and it's dumped down the ice, back into the Edmonton zone. Not far enough for an icing, as Greg Smith will come back to play it. The Wings had a couple of pretty good opportunities. Now the play comes back to the Edmonton blue line. Coffey hands it off to defenseman Charlie Huddy. Broken up center ice by Blaisdell. Mike Blaisdell hands it back to Larson. Larson scoops it ahead to Paul Woods. Huddy checks him. Here's Larson moving it back into the Edmonton zone. Larson turns with it, puts it into the corner. Paul Woods goes in after it. Woods ridden off the puck. Blaisdell picks it up. Mike Blaisdell checked in along the boards. Here's Woods taking it in behind the net. Paul Woods trying to get it back to the line, but it's broken up, and Curry feeds ahead to Gretzky. 3-on-2 over the line. Gretzky with a drive. And Gilbert got a little piece of it, and the Wings fire it back down the ice. They wave off the icing, and the play will go in behind the Edmonton goal. Puck held in by Woods. Goes into the corner. Huddy goes in after it. Huddy played it back. Here's Woods taking it away. Put it out in front, and it got away from Blaisdell as Woods has been all over the ice. Woods dumped it back into the corner, and Curry goes in behind his own goal. Eric Curry off to the side of his own net. Sweeps it out center ice for Gretzky. Now Wayne Gretzky carries back into the Detroit zone. His pass comes loose to Curry. Back on the line, Huddy. Huddy's shot deflected away. Knocked down by Craven. Murray Craven sent it ahead, and Loftus didn't get to it. Now Loftus does pick it up at center ice. Send it back to his own blue line, and Greg Smith sweeps it ahead from Mark Osborne. Puck ended up in the Edmonton zone with Coffey back after it. Now to Curry. Harry Curry is playing it in behind his own net, and Coffey cleared it out center ice. Gretzky checked there, gets it ahead. Over the line, into the Detroit zone, Lindstrom. And his pass ends up in the corner. Curry checked there by Foster. Loftus leads a 3-man rush for Detroit. Out at center ice, Osborne. Mark Osborne over the line. Huber is in close, but the play broken up. And Gretzky heads right back down the ice. Here's Gretzky laying it right out in front. And Anderson shot it over the top of the Detroit goal. And the Wings shoot it back down the ice. And there will be an icing call against Detroit as back after it is Jackson. With the score 2-1 Edmonton, he paused with it.
You're about to see an automobile that was designed to conquer winter. Introducing Eagle. The only one that lets you switch from two-wheel drive to full-time four-wheel drive. No wonder Eagle is official vehicle of the National Ski Patrol. Two-wheel drive for high mileage and comfort in normal conditions. Snow-gripping four-wheel drive when ordinary cars are just spinning their wheels. 1983 Eagle. 11.9% financing, now available on new Jeep, Renault, and American Motors models.
Face-off will stay to the left side of the Detroit goal. Kelly Kissio of Detroit moving in against Kenny Linseman. Anderson and Messier, the other two forwards up front with Linseman. Puck taken away by Detroit. Solheim played it in behind his own net. Into the corner after it, Reed Larson. Now Ken Solheim, late of Minnesota. Pass comes out center ice. Leach ahead to Kissio over the line. Here's Kissio, took the shot, who made the save, and Reggie Leach's shot was blocked. A loose puck, and Kissio center on the Solheim. Sent it just wide, and how close the Wings came again. But right back down the ice now, Anderson. Here's Glenn Anderson carrying over the line into the Detroit zone, goes to the corner. In behind the Detroit goal, the pass came out in front, and Greg Smith made the play for Detroit. Larson back out center ice. His pass tipped away at the Edmonton line. Anderson played it too far out in front of Messier. And it'll be an icing call this time against Edmonton, but boy, the Wings should have had the time.
Yes, they had chances to tie this game, and I thought sure that Reggie Leach would put the puck in the net. Everybody down on the ice in front of him. He took his time, but couldn't put it through moves. I can't recall a game, Bruce, where the Red Wings have given up so many breakaways. I don't know whether it's the Edmonton speed or not. They just, every time you look down, they play a man way up through center ice.
They play that kind of a game,
yeah.
A four-man defense and one man up waiting to break loose. Now it's Foster, Gare, and Osborne again for Detroit. With the play deep in the Edmonton zone, it is 2-1. The Oilers lead. I understand our video portion of the simulcast is not up to expectations at the moment. We're working to correct those problems. Play comes back out center ice as Willie Huber drives it right back in. It goes into the corner, deep in the Edmonton zone, held in by Gare. Gare sends it back to Colin Campbell. His shot was knocked down, never got through, and the Oilers will bring it right back down the ice. Vogelin slides it to the Detroit line, and there's a penalty coming up. A cross-checking call, I believe, to Colin Campbell of Detroit.
No, it's going to be
Edmonton.
It's going to be Edmonton.
Let's wait. Campbell having words with the Oiler player. Lensman down below us. The referee has called a cross-checking call.
It's either Anderson or Vogelin. That's Anderson.
Anderson's going to go off. Detroit will have the power play opportunity, and we'll be back with that after we pause right now for this.
Michigan's largest waterbed retailer, Waterbed Gallery, announces our once-a-year absolutely everything sale. A sale where you save on every purchase. Get this beautiful mirror bookcase for just $3.39. Wavecrest cushion rest waveless mattress is only $59. Sheet set starting at $29.95. Cotton comforters $39.95. And while they last, water conditioner 99 cents per bottle. Everything is reduced during our once-a-year absolutely everything sale. Now through Saturday only.
Waterbed Gallery, the better waterbed store.
A cross-checking call to Glenn Anderson at 4:34. Red Wings have their second power play chance. Puck scoops into the Edmonton zone. Going back after it, Vogelin in behind his own goal. Vogelin slips it along the boards, and it comes down the ice, and Reed Larson goes chasing it after. Hunter after him. Larson plays it up the right wing for Danny Gare. Gare right out in front of his own goal. Almost lost it there, and Ogrodnik covers up. John Ogrodnik. Bringing it out center ice, sweeps it off to Larson, a bouncing puck. He took it over the line, but that's knocked away. And Kevin Lowe shoots the length of the ice. Understand we still have video problems, and we continue to work to clear them up. Now Larson hands it off to John Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik overskated it, came back after it. They scramble along the boards, right at center ice. And Wayne Gretzky is the one that takes it away. Now Gretzky lost it to Bolderev. Here's Gare back into the Edmonton zone. Gare took the shot, and it deflected wide. Now John Ogrodnik sends it back to Larson. Reed Larson played it along the boards, and it ends up in the corner, and the Oilers will take it there, and Charlie Huddy bangs it back out to the Detroit blue line. Larson will bring it right back. Larson back over the line. Here's Larson looking around, handing it to Ogrodnik. John Ogrodnik to the side of the net. It comes back on the line to Greg Smith with a drive. Oh, the big save by Moog. Andy Moog reached up and grabbed onto that one, but the Wings are applying the pressure.
That is by far the biggest save that Moog has had to make. He threw that big gloved hand up.
Well, the Red Wings are home for 2 games next week at the Joe Louis Arena. Wednesday, the Wings play host to the New York Rangers. Saturday at 2 o'clock, the North Stars. First 6,000 youngsters, 14 and younger, receive a free T-shirt from Melody Farms. Tickets on sale at all the Hudson's and CPC outlets. Andy Moog made the big save. Now Larson with a drive, but Lisman got a stick of that. Deflected it up into the crowd. 34 seconds remain in the penalty to Edmonton Sanderson.
Detroit have had 4 shots in this period. Edmonton have only had the one shot on net.
Game is 2-1 Edmonton. The Wings led it 1-0. Then at 12:04, Gretzky's power play goal. Coffey puts Edmonton ahead 2-1 at 16:21 of the first period. Detroit with the extra man. White, Foster, Kissio, Osborne. The Oilers win the draw, shoot at the length of the ice. Gilbert stops it off to the side of his goal. Reed Larson in behind his own net. Now Larson will bring it back. Larson ahead now to Osborne. Mark Osborne of Detroit. Stopped right at the Edmonton blue line. Puck slumped back out center ice. Larson takes it there. Hands it across to Greg Smith. Back to Larson at the Detroit line. Just 5 seconds left in the penalty, and the Wings back in their own zone. Here's Greg Smith carrying it out center ice. Smith over the line into the Edmonton zone. Shoved off the puck. Foster held it in. Oilers back at full strength. Out in front now is Osborne, giving it to Greg Smith. Here's Greg Smith with a drive. The puck knocked away. Kissio took the shot, and Moog grabs onto that. And then Moog fans trying to clear it. He's all the way in the corner. There's a slip, and the Wings score. Mark Osborne picks it up and fires it into the empty net with Andy Moog over by the boards. And the Wings tie the game at 2-2.
I have never seen a goaltender come out and play it so nonchalantly. He went right over along the boards, tried to slip the puck out, missed it. Kissio made a good play by taking him out of the play along the boards, and then Mark Osborne just for the empty net from a bad angle. You catch those goaltenders that far out of the net, you've got to take advantage of it.
A 2-2 hockey game, and the Wings have had 6 shots on goal. Edmonton won here in the first 7 minutes of the period. Now the play right out in front of the Detroit goal, and Gilbert makes a big save. Right in on top of him. Now here's puck held in by Craig. Gretzky takes it into the corner. Wayne Gretzky turning with it. Circles. Here's Gretzky with a shot. Knocked away by Gilbert. A loose puck, and Gilbert again knocks it down. And the Wings fire at the length of the ice. And an icing call against Detroit. Oh, Mr. Gilbert came to the front.
And Mr. Gretzky just playing tag with Gilbert down there. Detroit more or less standing and letting him stick handle his way out in front of the net. And Gilbert come up with 2 fine saves.
I did not get the assist on the goal.
I didn't either.
Well, we'll drag him along. But it's Osborne's 19th of the year at 6 minutes, 52 seconds to tie the game. And then Gilbert made 2 great saves in front of that Detroit goal to keep it a 2-2 tie. Face-off remains a circle to the left side of the Red Wing net. Bolderev with Ogrodnik and Leach. Willie Huber up the right side. Reggie Leach went off his skate, so the Oilers control it. Curry laid it into the corner. Colin Campbell of Detroit has it there and shoots it back into the Edmonton zone. And again an icing call against the Wings, and again the play comes right back into the Detroit zone. We played 7 minutes, 41 seconds of the second period.
Montreal and Buffalo, the game was tied. Mondu scoring here on a long shot that bounced off the goaltender right to Mondu. That would be the goal that would put Montreal ahead 2-1. Well, Bruce, I was going to mention Gretzky gets an awful lot of ice time, and it's easy to understand how he gets 60-some goals. He's on the ice nearly all night long.
I came and watched the practice that the Edmonton Oilers had yesterday, though, and this man is an absolute magician with that puck. I was amazed in practice to watch him. I saw more than I did in games. Now the play is back into the Detroit zone. They struggle in along the boards in that corner. Colin Campbell got it loose. Wright Foster worked it out to center ice. It slides back into the Edmonton zone, and Don Jackson goes in behind his own goal for the Oilers. 12 minutes to play in the second period as Gretzky is at his own blue line. Now Gretzky makes the move, dumps the puck deep in the corner of the Detroit zone. Now Mark Osborne dug it away, goes in behind his own goal. Here's Osborne. His pass broken up center ice by Jackson. Gare tipped it, but Curry will play it back into his own zone, and the Oilers will bring it back out again. Center ice, Lindstrom over the line into the Detroit zone. Willie Lindstrom's pass bouncing around, taken away by Osborne. Ahead to Foster. He's got Gare with him. Danny Gare over the line, took the shot, deflected away by Fogle, and Gare put it right to the goal mouth. And that's knocked away by Moog. Foster held it in to Gare. Off the side of the net, White Foster, good move out in front, fired it right through the goal crease. And the Oilers' Curry moves in behind his own net. Now Curry's pass comes ahead to Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky. Circling around at center ice, over the line, and Gobert for the save he made. He knocked that puck up into the air and grabbed onto it.
He's putting a show on for this Edmonton crowd. They're giving him an ovation. But Gretzky really getting all the wood from about 40 feet. Gilbert with that big glove knocked it as it followed back into the net. Come up with a save from the top of the circle right on the corner. And Gilbert with that big glove, even though falling down, kept his eye on the puck.
Understand our video problems have been rectified? No, we still have the video problems. So we are working to clear them up. Quick shot right to the face-off, driven through the goal mouth by Lumley. Semenko rolls in behind the Detroit goal. Another shot right on the net. And grabbed right at the goal line by Gilbert. And he has been right on the spot.
And Detroit are having problems getting possession of the puck in deep. But Semenko just moved the puck in behind the net. Gilbert reaching out. If the puck looked as though it was going to go into the empty net, he was arm back.
A while ago, Sid, we said that the Red Wings had outshot the Oilers 6-1 in this period. Now the Oilers have hit the last 4 shots in the net. Now the Wings will bring it out to center ice with Larson carrying. Larson over the line trying to go through, and Fogle ties him up. Kevin Lowe circles in behind his own net. Bangs it out to center ice. Reed Larson has it there. Now Reggie Leach golfs it back in. Kevin Lowe just got it back up. Lumley's pass out at center ice into the Detroit zone. Semenko trying to work in, and O'Grotny came back to steer him away. Larson didn't work it out. Lumley sent it back to the line for Fogle, and with a shot that Gilbert kicks out. Now John O'Grotny playing it ahead and coming out Bolderev. Ivan Bolderev carries over the line, trying to get loose. Here's Reggie Leach going right in. And no, he failed to score as Moog just stayed right in front of him. What a chance for Leach. Right back down the ice now is Lumley trying to cut through. Ridden off the puck by Greg Smith, and Larson comes up with it. Reed Larson up the left side to O'Grotny. John O'Grotny with a drive, and it deflected over the glass up into the crowd. With a pause in the action, a 2-2 score. We'll be back right after this.
And now, demonstrating banking without waiting, Magic Johnson. Magic starts a fast break, moves down the floor past the long lines, drives to the Michigan Money fast teller. He slips his card towards the machine. It's in! Look how he lays up those deposits, passes his money from savings to checking, and picks off those withdrawals. Bank without waiting, like magic, with fast teller at Michigan National Bank. What a bank shot!
Well, nice going, gentlemen. They've cleared up our video problems along the way. 2-2 the game. Edmonton has started to apply pressure now, but what a chance a moment ago that Reggie Leach had. That's 2 for him tonight. He's been stopped both times by Moog, but he's been right in.
And I would rather see Reggie Leach have the puck than anyone else on the hockey club in post like that.
Now the Oilers' Dave Hunter lays it back into his own zone. Cleared up the right side for Huddy. Out at center ice. Hitchfield takes it over the line, drops it off. Here's Hughes. Matt Hughes circles in behind the Detroit goal. Checked there by Colin Campbell. Wings didn't get it out. A loose puck in front. Knocked down, but not cleared out. Hunter went after it, but it's pumped ahead and coming out Kissio. Here's Loptown over the line. Took the shot, and he fired it wide. Both teams a little careless defensively right now. Puck driven all the way back into the corner of the Detroit zone. Hughes laid it in behind the goal. Hunter into the corner after it. Let it come back. Coffey's pass broken up, and now it'll be Solheim of Detroit. Ahead to Kissio. Three of the wings head over the line, and I'll tell you, Edmonton's slow coming back, but the wings didn't do much with it. Huber went in deep, held it in for the moment. With the Oilers' Hughes, he's knocked off the puck by Solheim. They scramble along the board. Kissio sends it back to Greg Smith with a drive, and that was knocked down in front of the goal. And flips back to the Detroit blue line and back after it Loftos. Now Paul Woods carries back in. Here's Woods, drifting it off to the side of the goal. Moose says enough of that, and he holds on to it. We've a pause in the action, a 2-2 tie, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hey, I can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm worried.
I can see that.
My insurance agent says annuities. My broker says stocks. It's confusing.
Talk to my IDS representative.
IDS?
IDS offers lots of ways to make your money work harder.
Really?
They start with your goals.
Oh.
And a financial plan that puts you in control.
IDS. I see.
Great. So can I.
Thank you.
IDS, ideas to help you manage money.
Next time I'll get front row seats.
Bruce Martin, Sid Abel, Toby Cunningham here at the Northland Coliseum. The Wings and the Oilers tied at 2-2 with 8.5 minutes to play. In the second period, play goes into the Detroit zone, right out in front of the net. And Gilbert came out of the goal and got a piece of it, knocked it away. Murray Craven scoops it ahead, and Woods bangs it into the Edmonton zone, then went in along the boards with Gregg. Randy Gregg, the puck loose to Messier. Messier trying to work out. It comes out center ice. Linsman up the left side, too far out in front of defenseman Jackson. And the Wings, Reed Larson clears it ahead. Now here's Mark Osborne, rather Craven. Craven's pass went behind Blaisdell, and Linsman brings it back for Edmonton. He was checked by Woods. The puck flies into the Detroit end. It's Murray Craven. He couldn't find it. It goes into the corner. Messier circling in behind the Detroit goal. Messier coming out in front, and it's knocked away by Craven. Here now is Blaisdell. Mike Blaisdell ahead to Paul Woods. With Gregg back, Woods goes over the line, trying to work around Gregg. Moved the puck right to the side of the net. And he scores! It went in off Woods.
It rolled over the line, about an inch over the line.
Oh, I never thought it was going to get by him on the short side, but it was Paul Woods just charging around defenseman Jackson.
And he just poked it, and it hit his skate, off moved, and just rolled over the line. It didn't go in by more than an inch, but what a goal to score to put the Wings on top. A great play by Paul Woods. He just forced his way around the outside of the defenseman.
So Paul Woods gets number 11.
Paul Woods, the assistant number 21, Mike Blaisdell.
Blaisdell draws the only assist on the goal, coming at 12 minutes and 29 seconds. That puck looked to be stopped by Moose, but it just rolled in behind him. And do you think that Randy Gregg was not suffering? Number 21, looking at it.
The width of the puck actually went over the line.
And it is 3-2 Detroit. Now the Red Wings trying to work out of their own zone. Didn't do it. Puck sent up into the crowd, though, by defenseman Lowe. Off a Red Wing player, and the face-off stays about 10 feet inside the Detroit blue line.
Bruce, Detroit have had some great scoring chances here in the second period when you think Reggie Leach on 2 occasions.
Well, in our intermission shootout down to the last game, and either Alex Delvecchio or Nick Libet is going to be crowned tonight during our second intermission. Larry Anderle, Mickey Redmond bring you the action. TV 50. Now the puck comes back to the center ice zone. Back after Colin Campbell got away. Gretzky chasing back into the Detroit zone. Sent back out center ice. Gretzky hands it off to Curry. Here's Curry laying it right out in front, and it was knocked away by Danny Gare. Wings failed to work it out, though. Curry holds it in, and Huber tied him up, but now play stays with Lindstrom, circling in behind the Detroit goal. Making the check back there is Huber. They scramble in along the board. Lindstrom sent it back toward Fogelin. Fogelin laid it high off the glass. It'll be held in now by Lowe. Lowe sent it in behind the net, and Gretzky put it right out in front. Here's Curry with a shot and scores.
A great play by Gretzky, but Detroit very careless deep in their zone to let Edmonton come back and get the tire. A shot along the boards. Gretzky took the play behind the net and put it right back out. And Curry just whipped one. No slap shot there, just a wrist shot from about 25 feet. and threw a screen. Gilbert did not see it.
Well, that's another situation where the Red Wings had the play, but just did not handle the puck.
Curry's 42nd goal of the season.
At number 4, Kevin
Lowe, who held the puck in at the blue line, gets the other assist. Good score again. Edmonton just coming down the ice, firing from the blue line. I actually was looking at my score sheet.
Paul Coffey again. Coffey, I think, catching Gilbert just over the blue line, and he got it away, and Gilbert not paying attention on this one. It was on the glove side, but a quick goal by Coffey, his second goal of the night, 27th of the season.
The third Oiler goal scored by Curry.
Well, that hurt.
At 13:29.
That comes at 13.
The fourth Oiler goal
40. So we have a pause in the action, and the Oilers jumping into a 4-3 lead. We'll be back in a moment.
Last January, European experts voted this Renault Car of the Year. Today, American experts agree. They named the American-built Renault Alliance Motor Trend's 1983 Car of the Year. Alliance was judged for styling and design, quality and comfort, performance and dollar value. Renault Alliance, so outstanding it's the Car of the Year. European technology now built in America.
Test drive Alliance at your AMC Jeep dealer.
Two goals, 11 seconds apart, tie the game and then put Edmonton out in front 4-3. Now the play at center ice. The Oilers have it there. At his own blue line, Huddy. Charlie Huddy trying to pull away from Bolderev's check, bounces it back into the Detroit zone. Greg Smith went into the corner after it. Reed Larson sent it in behind his own goal. He was checked there. Puck came back to the line for Huddy, sweeping it in behind the goal, out in front of the net. Greg Smith took Lumley to the ice. The Edmonton club and the fans don't care too much for that. The play goes all the way back into the Oilers zone and an icing call against Detroit.
Edmonton's starting to put a lot of pressure on. They're complaining to Morrell that there should have been a penalty called.
And I think maybe
there should have been two out in front of the net. But
well, Paul Woods put the Red Wings in front 3-2 at 12:29. Exactly 1 minute later at 13:29, Curry from Gretzky and Lowe. And then just 11 seconds later, while we're still writing down the Curry goal, Coffey just inside the blue line from Huddy and Rolston at 13:40. So now the Wings back trailing by a goal with a lot of time left, 5 minutes and 35 seconds here in the second period.
And this is the type of a game I'm sure that the Red Wings did not want to get into, where a lot of goals be scored.
Detroit now. Kissio, Stolheim, and Loftus scored the first goal of the hockey game. Coming out now is Willie Huber. Tries a long shot wide of the net. Stolheim played it in behind the goal. Took a bump along the boards from Hunter. And the Oilers cleared out center ice. Hershtide over the line and drops it off for Hughes with a drive. And Gilbert got a piece of that. And it ends up over the glass in behind the Detroit goal. So with a lead for the Oilers of 4-3, we pause with it.
Born of tradition, nurtured by pride. Budweiser Light, with a clean, distinctive taste. A light beer worthy of the king of beers.
Bring out your best. Bring out your best.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it.
Montreal adding to a 2-1 lead over Buffalo with a goal from in close. Canadians now ahead 3-1.
There's a
Buffalo come right back with a goal to tie the score at 3.
Now here the game is 4-3 for Edmonton. The Wings flip the puck into the Oilers zone. Knocked on with a high stick by the Oilers, Greg, and so the play will stay in the Edmonton end. 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the second period. The Wings trail 2-1 going into the second period. Osborne scored an assisted goal at 6:52. Then Woods put Detroit in front 3-2. Then a minute later, Curry, and 11 seconds later, Coffey, and it's 4-3 Edmonton. Play just inside the Edmonton blue line. But still not dropped. Came back to Huber with a quick shot that moved then into the corner. They went along the boards after it. It's played in behind the Edmonton goal. Now the Oilers' Hunter cleared it ahead. Moving out with an outside. Over the line, he's got Hughes cutting in front. Puck ended up in the corner, though. In behind the goal is Pat Hughes. And it's Kelly Kistio came in, knocked it away. Huber couldn't control it. Sent right out in front. Quick shot wide of the net, and on the rebound, they score. Pat Hughes picks it up and fires it into the open net after Gilbert had made the move on Randy Gregg.
Well, there's a case that Hughes just jumped in and beat Detroit to the puck. A puck that come off the back wall. And Detroit not too alert. The puck come right back, and Hughes beating Detroit to the puck. Threw it in the empty side to give Edmonton a 2-goal lead.
3 goals inside of 2 minutes for the Oilers, opening up a 2-goal lead. 25 on the year for Pat Hughes. Now the wings read Larson, turning it back to his own blue line. It bounced away from Blaisdell, back to Fogelin at the line. Gregg draws one of the assists. Here now it's Paul Woods in behind his own goal. Laying it into the corner. Dave Hunter had the other assist along with Gregg at 15-21. Puck loose at center ice. Kenny Linsman turns with it there. Trying to work away from Paul Woods, who slowed him up. Woods knocked it away a second time. Linsman knocked down by Blaisdell. Back over the line. Woods drops it off for Larson. Larson's pass didn't come through. It's bouncing around in front of the goal. Scored! The Red Wings had scored. It just slid by. Moved.
I can't believe the way the puck goes. The net, that just rolled over the line too. But Blaisdell just kept fighting for a loose puck that was bouncing out in front of the net. And the sticks up high and just a melee of players, but he followed it all the way into the net. And I would think Blaisdell will probably get credit for the goal.
Strange goal from a wild scramble. Out in front of the goal. Fogelin actually took his goaltender out of the place.
Mike Blaisdell gets his 17th goal.
Scored after 21, Mike Blaisdell.
5 goals we've had inside of 4 minutes.
Well, there was a case, Bruce, where Blaisdell didn't give up on the play. He just kept following it in, and first thing you know, it crossed the line.
Now the play back into the Detroit zone. Puck bouncing around. Curry played it right through the goal mouth. It'll be held in by Coffey. Coffey sends it into the corner. Lindstrom back of the net to Curry. Broken up by Willie Huber. Huber just held it there, and so the play will stay in the Detroit end to the right of the Red Wing goal. We've 3.5 minutes to play in the second period.
6 goals scored here in the second period. 3 by Detroit and 3 by Edmonton.
5 of them within the last 4 minutes. Well, this is it tonight, the championship of shootout. Last Wednesday, we saw Nick Libet defeat Brian Watson. Tonight goes against Alex Delvecchio in our second intermission. Puck sent up into the crowd, actually into the Edmonton bench. Face-off will stay the rim of the circle back in the Detroit zone. Wayne Gretzky with Curry and Lindstrom, the forward line for the Oilers. Gretzky with the first Edmonton goal on the power play, and he set up Curry's third goal that tied the game at 3-3. Red Wings Paul Woods has a goal and 2 assists in this hockey game. Now the puck bouncing around in the the Detroit zone. Danny Gare sends it ahead to Mark Osborne. Osborne moves it to the blue line, drives it into the corner, off to the side of the Edmonton goal. The Oilers pick it up, clear it ahead, and Curry heads out. Now to Wayne Gretzky, over on the left side. Gretzky takes it into the Detroit zone. Centering pass, Huber knocked out away, and Gare played it out center ice for Foster. Here is Dwight Foster carrying into the Edmonton zone. Held it in, bounced it out in front of the Edmonton goal, but the Oilers will clear it away. Coffey playing it back to the Detroit line. John Barrett back after it. Barrett fired it off the glass. The Oilers' Coffey lost it. Here now is Barrett dropping it off for Osborne over the line to Foster. Back to Osborne. His pass missed Paul Woods, and the Oilers' Curry sweeps it ahead. They race in after it. Gretzky and Larson will get there. The icing call against the Oilers with 2.5 minutes to play in this second period and a 5-4 lead for Edmonton.
A wild and woolly period with all these goals being scored. That's one thing, Edmonton do give up a lot of goals, but with their scoring power, you just know that they're going to score a lot of goals.
Well, they don't seem to care. They'll be in deep in their own end and still have a couple forwards up along the blue line. Face off to the left of the Edmonton goal. Puck came back over on the left side. O'Grodny tried to hold it in, couldn't do it. Larson knocked it away at center ice. Covering up there, Boldarev. Ivan Boldarev gave it away. He knocked away from him. They bump one another at the line. The Oilers take it in. Here now is Greg with a shot. Gilbert grabs onto that and holds it with heavy traffic out in front of the Detroit goal and a face-off to the right of the Red Wing net.
Big Dave Semenko, they always say he's the policeman for Gretzky, but he just runs right out, interference in front of the net.
The Oilers have 30 shots in this hockey game. Detroit 17. Now Paul Wood shoved the puck over on the right side, so when he did, they whistled it down. Mr. Gilbert is looking at a lot of shots. He had 38 fired in his direction in the game in Toronto Wednesday night. Paul Wood tips it into the corner. Greg Smith sends it up the left side. That took a funny bounce. John O'Grodny got it knocked away. Then Smith ran into Lumley. They hold one another along the boards. It's dug away, but Woods picks it up, starts it out center ice with a pass to Boldarev. O'Grodny down the left wing. John O'Grodny tried to go through. Puck ended up in the corner. Boldarev put it out in front, but Gregg breaks that up. Randy Gregg ahead now to Lumley. Dave Lumley's pass into the Detroit zone with Semenko chasing it. Semenko in behind the goal, put it out in front. O'Grodny takes it away. John O'Grodny back down the ice. A minute and a half to go. Took a long shot, and that's deflected over the top of the net off defenseman Gregg. So the play will stay just inside the Edmonton blue line.
I'm pretty sure we'll see more goals scored, Bruce, because it's just so wide open. Edmonton gambling that they probably wouldn't mind seeing it a 10-9 game, as long as they get the 10. Detroit will get scoring opportunities.
1 minute, 28 seconds to go. Second period, 5-4, Edmonton. Gully Kissio, Solheim, and Leach now. Solheim drives the puck toward the corner. Going in after it, Fogelin of the Oilers. Laid it ahead, and it bounces out center ice. Going after it now, the Oilers picks it over the line. Has Jackson right out in front. And out of the net, Gilbert. But moving in, Pat Hughes could have easily had the next goal. Another shot, Gilbert knocks it away. It comes right back to low with another drive, and that's deflected off the side of the net. And the Oilers came close to opening up a 2-goal lead. Now Kissio sends it ahead to Solheim. Off to Reggie Leach, back over the line. He just left it there. And the Oilers, Fogelin will pick it up. Start right back down the ice. 45 seconds in the period. Play driven in behind the Detroit goal. Gilbert lifts it off the glass. It comes to Solheim. Played it back over on the right side. Kissio of Detroit. Couldn't get it out. Linsman knocked it away. Huber laid it back to Barrett. Now to Solheim. Solheim pass knocked down. Here's Anderson with a drive that went wide. And the Wings having trouble moving it out. It rolls out to center ice, and Linsman shoots it right back in. A bouncing puck, Barrett goes after it. John Barrett won't get it out. That's called in. A loose puck right out in front, and they score.
Well, that's Detroit.
Scores because the Wings just don't move it out.
That's right. Detroit just give them that goal. Nobody going for the puck. And a play along the boards. John Barrett got knocked off the puck. Comes right back out in front. A bad goal to give up with just 14 seconds to play, but nobody really wanting the puck, in Edmonton in deep.
His 44th of the season, scored by number 11, Mark Messier.
Messier gets the goal as he cut right in front of the net. There's 14 seconds remaining in the period. Now the play back into the Edmonton zone. Time will run out as Huddy skates it into the corner, holds it there, and the buzzer goes in 1 second. And the second period is over with a lot of goals. 7 of them in the period. And the Oilers will skate off, leading the Detroit Red Wings by a score of 6-4. And the shots on goal, 33 now for Edmonton. That means they had 16 in the second period, and 9 for Detroit for a total of 18. So that's it. After 2 periods of play from here at the Northland Coliseum, the score, Edmonton Oilers 6 and the Detroit Red Wings 4.
My new JVC Compact VCR is the world's smallest, lightest VCR ever. It's ideal for taping graduation, school plays, Halloween. It's loaded with features. Perfect for Christmas morning, Groundhog Day, Little League, Big League.
JVC's compact video system with the world's smallest, lightest VCR ever.
Buzz off, Buster.
Great sound, too.
WJR morning sees the greatest in every single way. For knowing all the latest. JP stands for
WJR.
Good morning.
I'm keeping you weather-wise. I'm traffic off in the skies. Now, more than ever.
JR stands for Detroit.
That's who.
Sugar-free A&W. The taste for me with only 1 calorie. Get that frosty mug sensation. Ooh, sugar-free A&W. The delicious taste never ends in my way. It's the sugar-free that's so great tasting. Get that great big frosty mug sensation. Ooh, sugar-free A&W. Ooh, ooh.
Jeep asks, why drive a car?
Hey, how far to town?
90 miles by car or 5 by Jeep.
I drive a car.
I bought my Jeep Wagoneer as a second car. Then I realized, what do I need the first one for?
This just in. 11.9% financing on Jeep vehicles.
11.9% means monthly payments as low as $158.87 on a new Jeep CJ.
Talk to me. WXYZ Radio is Morning News Talk with Mike Miller.
Talk to me.
WXYZ Radio is Midday Conversation with Mark Scott.
Talk to me.
WXYZ Radio is Dr. Sonia Friedman in the afternoon.
Talk to me.
WXYZ Radio is Evening News Talk with David Newman and Nighttime with Kevin Joyce.
Talk to me.
WXYZ News Talk AM 1270. The Talk to Me station is talking to you.
Some things never change, like the sparkling, deliciously different taste of Verner's, the soft drink that has been tingling Detroit's taste buds for over 116 years.
Shootout, featuring former Red Wing greats. Brought to you by CompuWare, a full-service data processing organization, and by JCPenney, serving families' needs at 14 metro locations. Now, here's Larry Adderley and Mickey Redmond.
It's the finals of our shootout, and Mickey, our 2 finalists, Nick Libet and Alex Delvecchio, arrived here in much different ways.
They really did, Larry. Nick, of course, very tough competition against Brian Watson. Had to go into overtime, 5 shots one-on-one to get by Brian Watson. And Alex, of course, with the best combined total points in the first 2 competitions, got that bye into the finals. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. 2 old teammates out there, and the competition is getting tougher. A lot of better point scoring in the latter games than we've seen in the early going.
The veteran against the youth, the former coach against his former player, Alex Delvecchio against Nick Libet in the finals of the shootout. And Mickey Redmond talked with Alex before this final round.
Alec, I see you're in training over there with your traditional cigar. Is that a victory cigar going into the finals here, or are you a little nervous?
Well, no, not a victory cigar yet, but I think the nerves are a little high right here. I got a tough guy in Nick Libet coming up.
Looking at that overtime in the last competition, that certainly had to be hard on the legs and the body, going back and forth like that as many times as they did.
Well, I'll tell you, the young goalie did a heck of a job, and they both had excellent chances. So I hope I don't go into overtime with them.
Well, Alex, congratulations on getting this far, and good luck in the finals.
Thanks, Mick.
Alex Delvecchio, there's his career points, 140 points in this competition as he's set to go in the final round. 10 shots at 4 targets in the corner. 5 points for each target knocked out.
Alex, a total area of 23 years in the National Hockey League. Well accustomed to that ice down there and picking corners in his career. 456 goals.
But he's cold in this competition right now, missing the targets that he hit with ease the first 2 times around. There's one for 5 points. Tried to go high and only got one. 5 points for Delvecchio into the 10-point passing competition.
Just missed on the forehand. Important backhand here for Delvecchio. And he misses that one. He has to do some scoring now with only 5 points so far. And Mikolev to stop on the first one. 3 shots to go. Delvecchio with only 5 points so far.
And he hit the post on that one. Had him beat and didn't get it in the gap.
Well, he sure needs a couple here. There's the deke. He got it from the deke. And Delvecchio still having that good move. He put the head to the left and went back to the backhand and dumped it by Mikolev. And that'll do it. Alex just 1 out of 4 on the one-on-one. Didn't hit either passing target and only 1 out of 4 in the accuracy for a total of 20 points. And what that is for Nick Libet to go after here for the championship.
But a typical Alex Delvecchio goal. Good fake, good move. And like he says, the youngster got tough. Nick Libet is next, and he talked with Mickey Redmond before this final competition.
Nick, you didn't have too much good luck on your round out there. You had to feel in pretty bad shape when Brian Watson, all he had to do was get 1 out of 4 on the one-on-ones to beat you.
Well, Mick, it's, I missed the second time in a row. I missed the 2 middle targets, the 10-pointers, and they are, I think, the easier of the 3 events. And I did consider myself lucky in the last round.
Do you think Brian's natural ability or real ability came out when he had to score 1 out of 4 and couldn't get it?
Well, I think if there was any spot that I was maybe going to beat Brian, it would be the one-on-ones with the goalie, because obviously Brian being a defenseman and not having the time involved in trying to score goals, yeah, I think I had the advantage. You'd never know it to see some of our shots, though.
Well, Nick, nevertheless, you're going into the finals, so good luck against Delvecchio.
Fine, thank you, Mickey.
Alex Delvecchio can only stand and watch now as Nick Libet takes his turn. He has had more than 20 points easily in each of his rounds of competition. He could get 20 right here, knocking out those 4 targets in the corner.
Yeah, sometimes, again, it's easier. It's not as easy as it looks out there. Nick would love to get a couple of targets and pass and tie it up and need only a goal, but there's 2 for him right in a row. And as you mentioned, there's number 3. He could tie this game right now. And there
he got it.
4 straight targets for Libet. Didn't use up all 10 pucks, and here he goes. All he needs is 1 of the passes.
And he called this the easiest part of the competition.
There's the shot.
Oh, he drilled it.
We're looking at our champion, Nick Libet. The old-timer shootout champion, Nick Libet.
A low-scoring final as the goaltender got tough, but Nick Libet is our shootout winner, and Mickey Redmond is on the ice with the finalists right now.
Alex and Nick, quite a competition. Kind of different. The scoring down at the end was really low. Alec, after the good 2 rounds you had.
Well, I think we ran into a hot goaltender, and he did play really well. Plus, these 2 dummies on the side of the rink came into play.
I was going to say there's no goaltender in a passing on the target.
I know, but he's still in the way when they're in that cage.
Just like to say, Nick, congratulations on a great win. You got to feel good with all the boys around, and especially Bugsy. You got him off your back a little bit.
Well, I think that was the whole key. I mean, Alex, the veteran that he is, we kind of expected to maybe not do quite so well, but Bugs, for gosh sakes, I'm glad I beat him.
Pretty good competition all around, guys. It was enjoyable, I know, for me to work with it, and Larry upstairs. I hope you guys had fun.
Fine, thank you, Mickey. It was very enjoyable.
We did. We enjoyed it very much. Looking forward to it.
Congratulations, guys, for getting to the finals. Nick, congratulations on a great win. Back to Larry Adderley.
Shootout is over. Our thanks to Art Scove, the referee, goaltenders Jimmy Rutherford and Corrado Mikolev, and once again, our shootout winner for 1982, Nick Libet.